Okay, hello everybody. Alright, hello everybody, Todd here, all things archery and shooting, and today we're going to be doing a video on, a how-to video on how to tune your arrows to your bow. What I have here is two sets of arrows. There's, as you can see, I have a total of 6 arrows total, 2 sets of 3. 2 have feathers on them, 1 doesn't. And the only difference between these two arrows is going to be the point. One has a 190 grain point, and one has a 160 grain point. What I'm doing here is I'm trying to get my bow tuned to these arrows, this new Mandarin Duck Devourer longbow that I have. These are 11/32. They've been cut to 31 inches using 5-inch turkey feathers, shield cut with boning nocks. And one set of 3's got the 190 grain on them. The other set has the 160 grain point on them. What we're going to do, this is how I tune my arrows to my bow. Some people do it differently, but this seems to work for me, and maybe it's a little bit easier for you. What I do first is I shoot the 2 arrows that I got the fletchings on them with the same thing into the target, see where they're grouping at. Then I'll shoot the bear shaft, which is right here, and see where it groups at. Then I can decide whether I got to move my nock point, or I got to use a more stiffer spine or less spine. So it works pretty well for me. It's the way I've been doing it for years. So we'll give it a shot here and see what y'all think about it, okay? We're going to do the 160s first and see how they shoot. I am going to go ahead and set up a little target here, which will be just a little piece of white cardboard right here for an aiming point. Okay. Okay, this is strictly used for an aiming point, nothing else. All right. I start my arrow tuning. I start my arrow tuning at 10 yards, then move to 15, then finally to 20. So I'll shoot 2 feathers at 10, then 2 more at 15, 2 more at 20. That'll get me where my arrows are hitting at. Then I'll shoot my bear shaft the same distance and compare them. Let's see how it works. Shooting 160s first. Okay, as you can see, I've got 2 arrows. This is my first 10-yard group. 2 arrows basically touching each other, 10 yards. They look pretty straight in the hay bale. So you would think, okay, these 160 grain heads, this thing's the right arrow for this bow. By the way, these arrows weigh 670 grains with the 160 grain head. But now we're going to shoot the bear shaft, which is right here. The same 10 yards and see where this bear shaft hits, and then we'll see exactly how good those arrows are. All right. You should also, when you're doing this, be sure that you're using a hay bale or maybe a bag target. Don't use like a broadhead target, because it will snap your arrow, especially when they start coming there. Your bear shafts start coming there all cattywomper and stuff. The hay bale has just resistance where you can see where the arrow hits left or right, up or high. So now with this, okay, so now getting back to this. Now with this bear shaft, when I shoot it, I'm going to compare it where it's hitting compared to these, using the same aiming point. And then we're going to see if it hits nock high, nock low to the left, which will be heavy spine, which means I need a heavier point on front of my arrow, or nock left, which is a light spine, which means I need a lighter point in front of my arrow. I don't want to cut my arrows down because they're at 31 inches and my draw is 29.5 inches. I like to have at least an inch in front of my fingers for broadheads. So let's go ahead and see what the bear shaft does now. Okay. All right, I don't know if you can see that or not, but this shaft hit nock left, okay? It hit pretty much where I was aiming it, but nock left, and it's also nock high. So let's do it one more time and see where it hits the same spot, okay? Okay, I've got the same connection here. Now I'm hitting in just a little bit nock left, not much, okay? But you can see I'm nock high, so I need to bring my nock point down a little bit. So this is the 160s, okay? So far it looks like the 160s, because this is pretty close to straight in. It's barely off the lip, means a little bit underspine. I have a little bit of underspine than none, because this bow is not a true center shot. This bow is 1/8 pass, 1/8 ahead of center shot. So you need a little bit of a lighter spine weight to wrap around that bow for your archer's paradox with this big bow. This is not a true center shot. So that looks good. So what I'm going to do with that now, I'm going to lower this nocking point down, and then we'll see. Right now it's nock high. I'm going to lower that nocking point down maybe 1/8 of an inch and see if I can get this thing more straighter in, and we'll shoot it again. Okay? All right, give me a minute while I do that. Okay, so I did now, I took my 2 arrows out of the target right now. Okay, I lowered my nock down 1/8 of an inch. Okay, I'm going to shoot this bear shaft now at the same target and see where it hits at. And see if it's nock high, left, right. What I want is I want it about straight and a little bit to the left, means a weak spine. So it'll wrap around this bow during archer's paradox. This is not a true center shot bow. Now if I was shooting a true center shot bow, I'd want it dead on. Because it's not a center shot bow, it's an 1/8 inch before center shot. I want just a little bit kick to the left, okay? That's the archer's paradox kicking around, all right? Okay, I'm not nock high anymore. I'm dead on. I'm kicked off just a little bit to the left. So what I'm going to do with that, to fix that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to cut I'm going to cut off here maybe about 1/4 of an inch and shrink it down so I can bring it back just a little bit over more, okay? So let me do that real quick. Okay, now we're moving from my hay bale to my bag target. And we're going to do the same thing. Now that I got the 160s pretty much where I want to shoot them at. The last one was right where it was just a little bit, was right on the right dead center coming straight out, and a little bit knocked to the left just barely. So now we're going to finish up the tuning here with the same 160s. I'm going to shoot 2 160 splits and see where they fall. Then we're going to shoot the 160 bear and see where it falls, see how it compares, okay? 10 yards. Okay. Again, this is at 10 yards. Okay. And the same thing, I got the arrows nice and straight. They need to be a little bit lower than they should be at. Now we're going to shoot the bear shaft and see how it lands next to it, how close to it comes, okay? Which will be this one here. Alright? And everything is done right on my hay bale. I just finished. I should be able to land it somewhere pretty close in this area here, and it should be right where I need to be at. So let's take a look and see. Okay, as you can see, all right, this bow is now tuned to use 160 grain arrows. This is about the best you're going to get. I mean, I've got straight on, my bear fletching, no issues, and the two are hitting right in the same spot, so right in the same area at 10 yards. Okay, so now this bow is tuned for 160. I'll build the rest of the arrows to this side. But let's. Okay, I shot that one at this target here just to be safe. As you can see, it's a little bit Still a little bit knock high, but not much, but it's right in line. It could be because of the play in the back. But the last one hit pretty straight on, so we'll shoot one more to make sure, and then we're going to move out to 15, repeat, and 20 and repeat until we get it perfect. Okay, that's kicking a little bit straight on, but kicking a little bit to the left right now, as you can see, is a little bit to the left. I was aiming over here so I can get a better shot of it, but that's at 15 yards, okay? So far I'm pretty happy with that. Now let's move the 20 yards to see how it looks, okay? With the same bare shaft, we'll shoot 20 yards, okay? Okay, we still got our 2 arrows from 10 yards. At 15 yards, I noticed the shaft was kicking off. My last shot was kicking just a little bit to the left. A little more than I want, so I did is I went inside to my shop there and I cut another 1/4 inch or so off the tip of this to put a new point on. Let's try that again at 15 yards, see how it hits, okay? Okay, that hit good. Nice and straight, right in the bullseye, 15 yards. Now we're going to move the 20 and try it. Again, 20 yards, bare shaft. This is good. Okay, I'll get, all right. Again, 20 yards, bare shaft. See, I'm still a little bit knock high, okay? At 20 yards. So that means I bring my knock up just a little bit more, but my spine is correct now, left to right. But I just got to bring my knock point up just a little bit more. And we'll try it one more time, okay? Okay. Now that looks pretty good right there. I got it where it needs to be at knock-wise. I got arrows there. So now last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to shoot all 3 arrows at 20 yards and see where they hit. Now let's do that now. Okay, all right, here you go. It's a 20-yard shot with all the same arrows. You can see I shot these wide on purpose because I busted, if you look here, I busted one of the nocks on my other arrows, so I had to go in and redo this a little bit, make sure got another 160 grain up, so I busted a knock on that one. Anyway, I shot the two 160s are here. I left a little gap there, then I tried to aim for the middle with this, which I hit right in the middle. It's just a tad knock high, but not a lot. And they're both, the spine is perfect on them, okay? So now I know that this arrow here which with a 160 grain point on it, which I cut 5/8 of an inch off this arrow when we started. And we started with a 31 inch arrow, okay? I cut 5/8 of an inch off of this, okay, which gives me just about an inch past my draw length for my broadhead, which is fine. And then you get it tuned. So I will now make the rest of the arrows to match that one. I'll cut the rest of these down to match this arrow. That is how I tune my arrows to my bow. I'm not even going to try the 190 grains because I know they're going to be too much. They're going to be too. The 190 grains aren't going to work. They're going to be too heavy. The 160s are just fine. 160 makes good. These arrows weigh in. I got them marked here. 679 grains. So with a 160 head on, which is 680 grain, which is a good hunting weight. All right. All right. Well, that's like I said. I hope you enjoyed this. It's my way of how I tune arrows. I was a little bit different than most people use, but it seems to work for me. That's the way I was taught, and I've been using it for years. And as you can see, everything is right on the money. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and shoot 2 more arrows, just see how close I can get them, aim for the target, and we'll just to double check. Do that right now. Okay. Okay. All right. I just shot these 2 at 20 yards. So these have already been cut down. I already cut these down to the right size and re-put the points back on. Now my new arrows, these are the 160 grains, cut down 5/8 of an inch, and shooting, as you can see, 20 yards. It's at 7 o'clock, a little bit low to 7 o'clock, but that's okay. I'm good with that. So that is how that's it. That's how the arrows get tuned. As you can see, they work good, right on the money. This Mandarin Duck Devour Longbow shooting really nice too. It's really smooth shooting, so that helps a lot. But folks, that's how I do it. Well, if you enjoyed this video, click that like button, and also if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And also click that bell notification so I can notify you upcoming videos. I've got a bunch of cool videos coming out. I got the cheapest takedown ILF recurve bow you can buy on Amazon. I've got a review coming in on it. It'll be probably this weekend. The bow should be here tomorrow. The bow is only $74 shipped. That is, remember, this is an ILF bow, okay? It's going to be a 45-pound bow, 60-inch draw ILF takedown recurve. I've also got another bow review coming up, which is going to be the Cano Cane 54-inch longbow. I'm getting that bow because I want to use it for a tree stand. I tried in tree stand. I'm going to do a review on it. That's going to come in at 50 pounds. And then I have another bow coming in, which is a custom one-piece longbow, 50 pounds, 20-inch draw. That'll be in about 2 or 3 weeks. That'll be in a custom made for me. So that's what I got coming up the next few weeks on my channel, so be sure to look for those. And as always, I want to thank you for your support. And until next time, ciao.